It began like any other Friday night. Laughter spilled out of bars and restaurants as Atlantans enjoyed the end of the work week. Families settled in for movie night, the aroma of popcorn filling their living rooms. But this tranquility was an illusion, a brief respite before chaos. Unbeknownst to the city's residents, a tempest was brewing, a monstrous storm system bearing down on Atlanta with a fury rarely seen. By nightfall, the sky had transformed into a canvas of ominous greens and yellows. The air crackled with an electric tension. Then, the warnings began, a chilling symphony of sirens and urgent alerts flashing across television screens. A tornado watch escalated to a warning, and the words "take shelter" immediately sent chills down the spines of millions. This was not a drill. This was the real deal. The night of March 15, 2025 would forever be etched in Atlanta's memory as the night the sky fell. A chorus of howling winds replaced the city's usual soundtrack. The darkness, punctuated by flashes of lightning, became alive with the roar of an approaching monster. For many, the first indication of the tornado's wrath was the terrifying sound of shattering glass, the sickening crunch of metal, and the heart-stopping splintering of wood as the storm made its presence known. The first sign of trouble arrived early in the evening. At 9 p.m., the National Weather Service issued a tornado watch for a large portion of North Georgia, including the Atlanta metropolitan area. The tension was palpable, a collective holding of breath as residents anxiously monitored weather reports. As darkness deepened, so did the danger. At 11:50 p.m., the alerts became more dire. Tornado warnings were issued for several counties, including Cherokee, Cobb, and Paulding. The storm system, a monstrous swirl of dark clouds visible on weather radars, was bearing down on Atlanta with terrifying speed. The first confirmation of a tornado touchdown came at approximately 9:40 p.m. near Chestnut Gap Road in Fannin County. Reports of damage began to trickle in, each one a stark reminder of the storm's destructive power. Then, at 2:30 a.m., the unthinkable happened. A monstrous tornado, its winds screaming like a banshee, ripped through Paulding County, leaving a path of devastation in its wake. The storm raged throughout the night, a relentless assault of wind and rain. Reports of damage poured in from across the metro Atlanta area, downed trees, power lines ripped from their moorings, roofs peeled back like tin cans. The city, accustomed to the more leisurely pace of southern storms, was caught off guard by the raw, untamed power of nature's fury. The affluent neighborhood of Buckhead, known for its stately mansions and manicured lawns, didn't escape the tornado's wrath. Howell Mill Road, usually bustling with shoppers and diners, became an obstacle course of debris, blocked by a massive oak tree ripped from the earth by the sheer force of the wind. Power lines, snapped like thread, dangled precariously, plunging the area into darkness. On Collier Road and Northside Drive, the familiar glow of streetlights vanished as power lines succumbed to the onslaught. Homes and businesses were plunged into darkness, their inhabitants left to weather the storm in fear and uncertainty. The storm's indiscriminate fury served as a stark reminder that even in the most well-heeled neighborhoods, nature's power could not be ignored. The familiar landmarks of Buckhead were transformed in the blink of an eye. Parks, once havens of tranquility, became treacherous tangles of fallen trees and scattered debris. The elegant storefronts of high-end boutiques were marred by shattered glass and twisted metal, stark evidence of the storm's power. The storm's fury was most acutely felt in Paulding County, a suburban community west of Atlanta. Here, the tornado carved a path of destruction that left residents reeling in shock and disbelief. Homes were reduced to rubble, their contents scattered like confetti by the relentless winds. Cars were tossed aside like toys, their metal frames twisted and mangled beyond recognition. One of the most haunting images to emerge from the storm's aftermath was the wreckage of a gas station near Hay-Renfro Drive and Villa Rica Highway. The once familiar structure was obliterated, reduced to a pile of twisted metal and shattered concrete. The air was thick with the smell of gasoline and the acrid tang of smoke, a grim testament to the storm's destructive power. The stories that emerged from Paulding County were harrowing tales of survival and loss. Families huddled in basements and interior rooms, praying that the storm would pass them by. First responders worked tirelessly, their efforts hampered by downed trees, blocked roads, and the sheer scale of the devastation. Section 5. Darkness descends. The power grid fails. As the storm raged, another crisis unfolded, a widespread power outage that plunged Atlanta into darkness. The city's electrical grid, already strained by the demands of a modern metropolis, buckled under the onslaught of downed power lines and damaged infrastructure. Over 17,000 customers were left without power, their homes and businesses plunged into darkness. The outage added another layer of chaos and fear to an already terrifying situation. Traffic lights blinked out, transforming familiar intersections into hazardous free-for-alls. Hospitals and emergency services relied on backup generators, their ability to provide critical care stretched to the limit. The hum of refrigerators and the reassuring glow of televisions were replaced by an unsettling silence. The lack of power brought with it a host of secondary problems. Food spoiled in refrigerators, leaving families scrambling to find ways to feed themselves. Medical devices that relied on electricity became useless, putting vulnerable individuals at risk. The simple act of charging a cell phone became a luxury, leaving many feeling isolated and cut off from the outside world. Section 6. City of Atlanta, a beacon in the storm. In the face of unprecedented chaos, the city of Atlanta responded with remarkable speed and resilience. City departments, including watershed management, transportation, parks and recreation, and public works, sprang into action, working tirelessly to clear debris, restore power, and provide aid to those in need. Emergency shelters were opened across the city, offering refuge to those whose homes were damaged or destroyed. First responders, working around the clock, risked their own safety to rescue those trapped in the rubble and provide medical attention to the injured. The spirit of community shined through as neighbors helped neighbors, sharing food, water, and words of comfort. The city of Atlanta, through its official channels and social media platforms, provided residents with up-to-date information on the storm's aftermath, including safety tips, resources for those in need, and instructions for reporting damage. The city's response, while not without its challenges, demonstrated the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Section 7. Beyond Atlanta. A wider path of destruction. While Atlanta bore the brunt of the storm's fury, the city was not alone in its suffering. The same storm system that spawned the deadly tornado that ripped through Paulding County continued its path of destruction across the central and southern United States, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. From Texas to the Carolinas, communities were ravaged by tornadoes, high winds, and torrential rains. Homes were reduced to rubble, businesses were destroyed, and entire communities were left reeling in shock and disbelief. The death toll continued to climb as rescuers searched through the wreckage. Each life lost a poignant reminder of the storm's indiscriminate fury. The storm's impact extended far beyond the immediate areas affected by tornadoes. Widespread flooding caused by torrential rains inundated homes and businesses, displaced thousands of people, and overwhelmed infrastructure. Power outages affected millions, disrupting daily life and hindering recovery efforts. Section 8. The Long Road Back: Recovery and Reflection. As the sun rose on March 16th, the true extent of the devastation became horrifyingly clear. Atlanta, once a bustling metropolis, was now a city in shock, struggling to come to terms with the scale of the disaster. The road to recovery promised to be long and arduous, a testament to the storm's unyielding power. The immediate priority was to ensure the safety and well-being of those affected by the storm. Search and rescue teams continued to comb through the wreckage, their efforts aided by volunteers from across the state and beyond. Hospitals, overwhelmed with the injured, worked tirelessly to provide medical care to those in need. The task of rebuilding would be monumental, requiring a Herculean effort from government agencies, private organizations, and individuals alike. The physical damage was only part of the story. The emotional toll on those who had lost loved ones, homes, and businesses would take far longer to heal. Section 9. Be prepared, heeding the wake-up call. The Atlanta tornado outbreak of March 2025 served as a stark reminder of the awesome power of nature and the importance of being prepared for severe weather events. While we cannot control the weather, we can take steps to mitigate its impact and protect ourselves and our loved ones. Every household should have a disaster preparedness plan in place, including an emergency kit with essential supplies such as water, non-perishable food, flashlights, a radio, and a first aid kit. Knowing the safest place to take shelter during a tornado, a basement, storm cellar, or an interior room on the lowest level of the house, can mean the difference between life and death. In the aftermath of this disaster, it is our responsibility to learn from this experience and emerge stronger and more resilient than ever before. By heeding the lessons of this storm, we can honor the memory of those we lost and build a safer future for generations to come.